was actually the time I did that the first time that you just saw. I went back there and went, what have I done? What came over me? Who am I?
Hollywood has been enchanted with Sally Field for decades due to her stunning good looks, immense skill, and profound emotional range. She is considered one of the best actors of all time, having won 2 Academy Awards, 3 Emmys, and 2 Golden Globes. Despite her Hollywood success, Sally had a secret boyfriend from her time there that she kept a secret for a long time. She has finally mustered up the guts to proclaim her love for her life, and she is 77 years old. Who is that? Come along as we learn her backstory, the events that led to her prolonged quiet, and other fascinating information. Early life and rise to stardom. However, before we go any further, let's review her childhood and how she became famous. Life of Sally Field in her youth. Famous Hollywood actress Sally Field overcame several obstacles on her journey to becoming a success. Sally Margaret Field was born in Pasadena, California, in 1946, the daughter of actress Margaret Field and businessman Richard Dryden. Her early years were shaped by the challenges she had to overcome, particularly following the separation of her parents in 1950 when Sally was just a young girl. This event marked the beginning of a tumultuous period in her life, as her family dynamics began to shift dramatically. In the year following the divorce, Sally's mother, Margaret, remarried. Her new husband was James Mahoney, better known by his stage name, Jocko, a stuntman and actor. This new marriage brought significant changes to the family, particularly as Sally's biological father began to distance himself from them. Although Jocko initially seemed kind and loving, his true character soon surfaced, revealing a much darker side. This new reality added further complexity to Sally's childhood, forcing her to navigate an increasingly challenging environment as she grew up. According to Sally's 2018 memoir, Jocko started behaving improperly against her while she was a teenager. His actions put Sally through a great deal of pain, including making intrusive requests and fabricating scenarios. Sally was emotionally and physically impacted by Jocko's behavior, even though he did not physically coerce her. She recalled that he would urge her to get down low in a whisper when she was 13 years old. On top of that, he made an overly sexual request that she dance. Consequently, Sally was confused and unable to communicate her discomfort to others since these interactions further stretched her limits. As a coping tactic for dissociation and withdrawing inward, Sally's low academic achievement revealed the detrimental psychological impact of the abuse. Even though Joe never forced Sally to have sexual relations with him, her abusive stepfather, her mother's fixation on her issues, and the germinating seeds of humiliation and secrecy all contributed to her psychological isolation. Sally felt emotionally alone. While her daughter was growing up, her mother Margaret ignored red flags and did little to protect or nurture her. She sought refuge away from her dysfunctional family because of the environment at home. She found solace and acceptance in her extracurricular activities, particularly theater, that she stopped interacting with her family and friends at home. School performances brought some solace to Sally, but her home situation only became worse as she entered puberty. After Jocko's marriage failed, Margaret had few reliable people to lean on and eventually succumbed to drinking. The need for stability and security was molded by Sally Field's early life, which was marked by much volatility and misery. She longed for a life of stability and support because she grew up in an unstable environment caused by her stepfather's aggressive conduct and her parents' strained relationship. Finding a stable base became even more challenging in light of her mother's struggles and her father's absence. Her work and personal life were greatly affected by her need for emotional support and a return to normalcy. It helped her develop a sophisticated awareness of human suffering and profound empathy that would shine through in her performances. Before landing her breakout role in the TV comedy Gidget, Field became somewhat defiant due to her desire for freedom from persecution. Field met an unnamed man after finishing high school, and she became pregnant with his baby. Fearing for the family's future, her stepfather orchestrated for her to get the abortion in Tijuana. Their family doctor drove her and her mother there. Field remembered waking up to the anesthesiologist touching her improperly during the surgery, which caused her much discomfort. Despite all that she had to endure, Sally Field showed incredible strength and determination. Her acting skills were significantly improved by the depth of feeling and insight she gained from the unresolved pain of her childhood. How, therefore, did she triumph over these odds and become a famous actress? Who, exactly, does she name as her soulmate? Be sure to stay tuned to discover out. She began her acting career at the acting provided Sally Field an outlet from the persecution and misery she had endured for years. She began acting in school plays when she was a teenager and found that taking on different characters allowed her to have a strong sense of self-control. She embarked on a serious journey towards an acting profession after this key epiphany. Sally had a natural acting skill, even if she had a tough childhood. She had already achieved great success in her field by the time she was 18 years old. After some initial hesitation, Sally's mother, Margaret, came around and encouraged her daughter's budding acting career. Margaret put Sally through acting school and got her several little parts in commercials. People were captivated by Sally's endearing personality and charming demeanor. Gidget, a TV comedy that Sally starred in 1965, was her first big role. Frances was a lively and romantic surf girl, and the show was entertaining and lighthearted since it followed her experiences. Even though it was canceled after just one season, the outstanding ratings for the summer repeats showed that audiences loved Sally's portrayal of the energetic teen. Based on her popularity, ABC Studios cast Sally in a lead role in The Flying Nun, a 1967 television series. Sister Bertrill, a nun with the power to fly courtesy of her wide-brimmed hat, was portrayed by Sally in this offbeat comedy. Even though Sally thought the show's idea was gimmicky, she was grateful for the chance to host a primetime show and have a steady paycheck. After 3 successful seasons, Sally's status as a beloved TV personality was cemented with The Flying Nun. Still, Sally couldn't wait to break out of the typecasting that had plagued her acting career up to this point. Her ambition to shed the stereotype of the innocent child actress drove her to seek out new experiences and push herself to her acting limits. Though her appearances in Gidget and The Flying Nun brought Sally Field widespread fame, they also tended to cast her as a certain sort of character, one who was always cheery, innocent, and lighthearted. Sally knew that if she wanted a successful acting career and to show off her skills, she had to take on roles that were more difficult and demanding. After realizing the need for her career, Sally Field made a pivotal decision to redefine her image and pursue a more serious path in acting. Following the conclusion of The Flying Nun, a television show that had typecast her in a lightweight, comedic role, Sally was determined to change how the public and the industry perceived her. Recognizing that she needed to evolve as an actress, she made the bold decision to enroll at the Actors Studio in 1971, a prestigious institution renowned for its rigorous approach to the craft of acting. There, she studied under the legendary Lee Strasberg, a mentor known for his transformative impact on actors. Strasberg's method, often referred to as method acting, focused on helping actors connect with their deepest emotions and personal experiences to create more authentic and powerful performances. This approach required actors to dig deep into their past, accessing buried memories and feelings to bring genuine emotion to their roles. For Sally, this period of intense training was nothing short of life-changing. It not only refined her skills as an actress, but also provided her with a therapeutic outlet to confront and process the traumatic experiences of her past. Through this transformative process, Sally found the strength to face her childhood traumas head-on. The intense emotional work required by Strasberg's method allowed her to channel the pain, confusion, and isolation she had experienced into her acting, giving her performances a raw and compelling authenticity that had been previously untapped. Now that she had her acting chops in tip-top shape, Sally started going after more demanding parts in 1970s TV movies. She portrayed a disturbed young lady in the 1972 television film Home for the Holidays, which was one of her famous roles. Sally had a hard time landing major cinema parts despite her developing skills. She took matters into her own hands and sacked her representation after they refused to submit her for major film roles. With hard work and perseverance, Sally was able to land a major part in the 1967 Western The Way West, co-starring Kirk Douglas. She was still unable to shake the typecasting that had followed her from her days on television. despite the high accolades for her intense performance. Her breakout performance came in 1976's Sybil. Unlike in her other films, this one featured Sally as a young lady suffering from dissociative identity disorder. Her performance garnered her a lot of praise for the emotional intensity and nuance it displayed. She received an Emmy for the performance in 1977, and it was a watershed moment in her career that led to many other, more lucrative possibilities in Hollywood. Besides this, what else did Sally Field do throughout her career? Be sure to stay tuned to discover out. Stepping into various roles and overcoming typecasting. While reviews for the 1977 military flick Heroes were mostly lukewarm, Sally Field stood out for her outstanding performance. The 1979 film Norma Ray, in which she starred as a militant textile worker advocating for workers' rights, was her next big break. Sally was unsure about this part at first, but she gave it her best and it paid off. Reviewers were blown away by Sally's sincere and inspiring performance in Norma Ray. She was firmly established as a serious dramatic actor after winning the Academy Award for Best Actor for her depiction. After Norma Ray was a smashing hit, Sally kept demonstrating her acting chops. Backroads, an emotional drama from 1981, and Smokey and the Bandit 2, a comedy picture from 1980, both starred her. Both Absence of Malice and Kiss Me Goodbye garnered her Golden Globe nods for her acclaimed performances. One of Sally's many talents was her ability to switch between dramatic and comedic roles with ease. Sally's rising stardom was fueled, in part, by her talent at endearingly portraying heroic underdogs. After winning an Oscar for her performance in 1984's Places in the Heart, her career took off. This film featured her as a Great Depression-era widow who fights for the survival of her farm and family. Critics and audiences alike were enchanted by her stirring portrayal of the character. As the 1980s came to a close, Sally Field's filmography was defined by a string of hits with audiences and critics alike. She demonstrated mastery of a wide range of genres, including dramatic drama in Absence of Malice and comedic roles in Smokey and the Bandit 2. After deciding to shake off her previous typecasting, Sally went from being a recognized and versatile TV actress to a cinematic star, and she never failed to provide captivating performances. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Sally Field's acting chops kept winning over critics and moviegoers. Her 1989 film Steel Magnolias featured the complex role of Malin Eatonton, who possessed equal parts strength and fragility. Among a group of accomplished actors, Sally's performance in this part demonstrated her ability to convey nuanced and profound emotions. Sally also had a notable role in Mrs. Doubtfire, a film in which she and Robin Williams expertly juggled comedic and dramatic roles. She solidified her reputation for producing captivating work across genres with her performance in this picture, which demonstrated her flexibility. Sally remained unfazed by the passing of time. She remained current in an ever-changing business because of her profound passion for acting and dedication to playing parts that touched her deeply. She kept casting herself in roles that were autobiographical, which only served to heighten the emotional resonance of her performances. The fact that Sally went from performing roles that were easier on the audience to ones that required more emotional investment shows how versatile and committed she is to her work. She overcame the trauma she experienced as a youngster by embarking on a journey of self-discovery via rigorous acting training and demanding roles. She found a feeling of independence and mastery over her life's trajectory via acting, and it also allowed her to pursue honesty and sincerity in her performances. She reached new heights in her profession due to her intense training and breakthroughs. So are you curious about Sally's personal life and the relationships she has had? Let's find out together. Sally's relationships and personal. The private life of Sally. In the late 1970s, while Sally Field's star was on the rise, she was dealing with personal problems that may derail her career. Despite her achievements, Sally's tragic background haunted her, and she sought out partnerships to re-establish the stability and trust she had lost. Nevertheless, she frequently had relationships that lacked actual closeness due to her tendency to seek intensity rather than authentic connection. Stephen Craig, Sally's high school sweetheart, was her first husband. They were married in 1968. They provided Sally with a sense of stability during her chaotic life. Sally took solace in the fact that the couple's two kids, Peter and Eli, were born of their typical adolescent romance. Nevertheless, Sally ultimately found this security to be limiting, and she yearned for adventure outside the secure boundaries of her first love. As Sally's problems became more overwhelming, she and Craig separated in 1975, and later that year, they formalized their divorce. The media frequently covered Sally's romantic life as her career took off. Some prominent people were said to have been romantically involved with her, including as Davy Jones of the Monkees, Harrison Ford of Heroes, and most notably, Burt Reynolds. In 1977, Sally and Burt Reynolds had a passionate and emotional romance. The link between them was strong but unstable because both of them came from dysfunctional backgrounds. Reynolds and Sally's 5-year courtship was full of high drama and marriage rumors. But Sally ultimately decided to put her profession ahead of her relationship and commit to Reynolds. The ups and downs of this relationship reflected the problems that Sally had never dealt with before. Sally looked for stability again after her breakup with Reynolds. Samuel was her third son, and she wed producer Alan Greisman in 1984. Sally and Greisman's marriage ended in 1994, even though they had a lot in common as parents. Sally remained alone for 10 years after her divorce, during which time she devoted herself fully to being a mother. Despite the difficulties, Sally has shown remarkable perseverance as she successfully balanced parenthood and a successful job. Despite the constant challenges she had in her career, her job as a mother brought her joy and stability. Sally Field's career kept going strong, and she became highly recognized. Her numerous film and television roles, including those in Forrest Gump, Steel Magnolias, and Mrs. Doubtfire, as well as on Brothers and Sisters, attest to her flexibility and dedication to acting. What other activities did Sally partake in? Despite her early success, Sally Field never rested on her laurels and pushed herself to go further. With a spirit of continuous learning and growth, she always sought new challenges to prove her versatile acting abilities. Throughout her decades-long career, Sally has remained committed to constantly improving her craft. After achieving great success and winning several Oscars in the 70s and 80s, she continued to expand her acting range in the 90s, constantly exploring new areas. A major turning point in Sally's career at this time was her participation in the 1993 family film, Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. This was her first attempt at voice acting, a completely new field for her. The voiceover for this film marked a new step in Sally's career, proving that she is not only an excellent actress on screen, but also a versatile artist who can adapt and shine in many different fields. With the determination to constantly improve herself, Sally Field continues to prove that she is an actress with outstanding talent and a spirit of constant improvement. Thanks to her dedication and passion for the art, she has built a sustainable career and always leaves a deep impression on the audience. Bringing charisma and character to animated characters, she portrayed Sassy, a clever and brash dog, in this film, with Robin Williams and Pierce Brosnan co-starring in Mrs. Doubtfire 1993. Sally maintained her comic prowess, despite her portrayal as Williams's wife. Sally was just 8 years Williams's junior, which speaks something about her adaptability and popularity. When she played Tom Hanks' mother in Forrest Gump, Sally achieved new dramatic heights. Sally's emotional sincerity to the picture as Mrs. Gump is palpable, even though she is just 10 years Hanks's senior. Her portrayal of Julia Roberts' mother in the film Steel Magnolias further cemented her reputation for playing powerful and emotionally charged matriarchs. Sally kept looking for parts that would let her showcase her many talents, even after decades in the limelight. With a recurrent guest appearance on the hit medical drama ER in 2000, she returned to television in a big way and won her third Emmy. She played Nora Walker in the 2006 ensemble drama Brothers and Sisters, marking her return to starring roles on television after a long hiatus. The show's popularity was further enhanced by her mesmerizing performance as the matriarch of the family, for which she was honored with a second Emmy for Best Drama Actress. Even as she grew older, Sally Field continued to perform at a high level. The Amazing Spider-Man, a superhero picture released in 2012, featured her as Aunt May. She was nominated for an Oscar that year for her performance as Mary Todd Lincoln in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. Sally proved that her abilities were just getting better as she proceeded to snag remarkable jobs far into her 70s. Sally worked tirelessly throughout her career, never letting herself get complacent. On the contrary, she was always on the lookout for multifaceted roles that would challenge her acting chops. Her charisma and genuineness shone through as she deftly transitioned between comedic, dramatic, television, and cinematic roles. Her versatility helped her build a career that would go down in Hollywood annals as one of the most legendary and beloved. Her celebrity did not dim with age, but rather became brighter, demonstrating that one can be successful in show business for a very long time. She has also had challenging times. Discover some of her health struggles and near-death experiences. About Sally's health. A terrifying event occurred at Colorado's Aspen-Pitkin County Airport on October 29, 1988, involving Sally Field and 3 members of her family. During takeoff, the private jet belonging to media magnate Merv Griffin lost power and collided with a parked plane, killing all on board. Thankfully, the collision was fairly mild and all on board made it out alive. Sally Field encountered yet another obstacle in 2005 upon learning she had osteoporosis. She faced the challenge head-on, unfazed by the disturbing news. Field sought to remedy this by introducing the Rally with Sally for Bone Health initiative. To bring attention to osteoporosis and the significance of early detection, she collaborated with pharmaceutical firms Roche and GlaxoSmithKline to develop this campaign. To aid in early diagnosis, the campaign advocated for the deployment of cutting-edge technology such as bone density scans. The osteoporosis medication Benova was also a focal point of Field's marketing. Her goal in doing this was to encourage individuals to be more active participants in their healthcare by teaching them how to monitor and improve their bone health. Sally was a big-hearted person outside of her time in the limelight. So, how did Sally get involved with various charitable causes? Be sure to stay tuned to discover out. Field has done much more than just act. She has also been an inspiration to aspiring actresses and a vocal supporter of women's equality in the film and television industries. She has helped inspire the next generation of female actors by sharing her story of overcoming typecasting and misogyny in the entertainment business. Field's activism goes beyond the entertainment industry. Her advocacy on behalf of women's rights, health, and LGBTQ+ rights is well known as well. Sally Field has shown that her influence extends well beyond the realm of acting by drawing attention to these worthy issues through her public profile. In her later years, Sally Field became an outspoken supporter of issues close to her heart. She was determined to speak out about abuse and emotional isolation since she had been through it herself. Her activism was an attempt to lend a helping hand to those who had been through the same difficult times. Sally found healing and a means to empower others by sharing her story, particularly in her memoir. Her power extended far beyond her acting profession, as her job as an advocate became an integral part of her life. Achieving personal growth was important, but so was making a difference in the world at large. Sally became an icon of strength and kindness because she was honest about her weaknesses and struggles. Through her activism, performances, and unwavering energy, Sally never stopped inspiring others, no matter what happened in her personal life, including her relationships. Both her outstanding acting and the close bonds she forged with her co-stars are reasons for her career's renown. When it came to her co-workers, how did she get along? We'll have to see. The dynamics between Sally Field, Jane Fonda, and Garner, working together on 80 for Brady, Sally Field, and Jane Fonda demonstrated the power of female friendship in Hollywood. Their friendship started in the 80s when Fonda surprised Field with a visit. Their natural rapport shines through in their jokes, relaxed banter, and game show situations. Field has been fortunate to have Fonda as a mentor who has encouraged her throughout her career. This highlights the importance of having strong female ties in the business. James Garner's ability to make Sally Field feel appreciated and understood contributed to the natural and seamless nature of their on-screen chemistry in Murphy's Romance. On the other hand, she had a less-than-stellar encounter with Tommy Lee Jones on the bridges of Madison County, remarking that Jones was far from stellar. Since she is a well-known actress, we may have a look at her work. Accolades and public acclaim. The resilience and maturity that Sally Field cultivated in her youth have served her well throughout her career, which has garnered her critical praise and a slew of accolades. Her breakout portrayal as a militant factory worker fighting for workers' rights in Norma Rae catapulted her to stardom. In 1979, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance, which showcased her talent for expressing genuine emotion and honesty, traits influenced by her journey. Sally Field's performance in Places in the Heart in 1984 earned her her second Best Actress Oscar. Her status as one of the most gifted and esteemed actresses in Hollywood was further cemented by her victory. "You like me" was a memorable statement she made during her victory speech. The phrase "you like me" has grown in fame ever since. This scene perfectly encapsulates her rise from a difficult childhood to stardom in Hollywood. Sally's effect and legacy. After all these years in the business, Sally Field is still very much a major player in Hollywood. Her versatile acting style, which incorporates elements of both drama and comedy, has allowed her to appear in a broad variety of film and television roles. Her continuous adaptability and charisma are on full display in her latest roles in films like Lincoln and television series like ER. Acting is only one area in which Sally Field has made an impact. As a producer and director, she has also accomplished much. In addition to directing the 2000 film Beautiful, she is also listed as a producer of the film. Her career illustrates her adaptability as an artist and her commitment to conveying stories in a variety of formats. Sally is now speaking out after a long period of keeping a secret. What is that secret? We will provide it. So stay tuned. Sally Field's autobiography, In Pieces. In Pieces, Sally Field offers readers an insight into her journey of self-discovery by exposing the dark and often horrific realities of her personal life. Her troubled childhood, especially her traumatic experiences in 1950s Hollywood, is detailed in the book. Sally describes her feelings of helplessness and confusion after being summoned to her stepfather's bedroom to perform particularly inappropriate activities. The exploration of Sally's complicated relationship with her mother, Margaret, is one of the most important features of the book. Sally and her mother had a strong bond, but Margaret's failure to protect her from these terrible experiences caused her to develop a deep hatred for her mother. Sally carries the emotional scars of this insecurity forever. When Margaret was in her twilight years, Sally found the courage to approach her mother and get the answers she had always wanted, despite her fears. As a mother, Sally's experiences are also covered in the book. She thinks back on the hardships she endured as a child at the hands of her mother and how those experiences shaped her view of parenting and her efforts to improve as a result. Sally Field also discusses disturbing private events that went against her public character. On set of The Flying Nun, she talks about the traumatic experience of having an abortion in Mexico while under the influence of director Bob Rafelson, and how he forced her into an unwelcome sexual relationship. The wholesome picture she presented on film was starkly contrasted with the personal sacrifices and challenges she endured behind the scenes. As these disclosures illuminate, what truths must she reveal about her soulmate? We'll have to see. Ultimately, Sally Field said Burt Reynolds was the man she loved the most. Sally Field's autobiography, Pieces, provides an insightful and illuminating look into her life, including her troubled relationship with Burt Reynolds. Their relationship was passionate and emotional, lasting from the late 1970s to the early 1980s. Although their relationship was complex, Field's book is primarily concerned with the emotional abuse and controlling behavior Field endured at the hands of Reynolds. Burt Reynolds and Sally Field hit it off from the moment they first met on the set of Smokey and the Bandit. However, as their relationship progressed, Reynolds' dominant habits and anxieties were revealed. Often jealous of Field's growing success, he forbade her from taking on more serious dramatic roles. For example, Field's self-esteem was eroded when Reynolds turned down the lead role in Norma Rae, for which she won an Oscar. Reynolds' possessiveness and jealousy extended far beyond his business life. He was quick to put Field in her place, saying she couldn't hold a candle to other actors he found more beautiful or brilliant. For Field, the continual barrage of negative comments undermined her sense of worth and diminished her ability to enjoy the fruits of her labor. Because of the emotionally abusive relationship, She was unable to break the vicious cycle of always trying to get Reynolds' favor and going through emotional ups and downs. Additionally, Field's personal life was negatively impacted by Reynolds' possessiveness. He put undue pressure on her to put him first and showed zero interest in her children. He created an environment of distrust and anxiety by dictating terms for her work and social interactions and by unfoundedly accusing her of adultery. Field found it much more difficult to escape the toxic relationship due to the controlling conduct that cut her off from her support system. Field overcame these obstacles and went on to have a successful career. Norma Rae was a watershed moment in her career. The role earned her an Oscar and showcased her range and skill. Despite the bittersweet nature of the victory, which served to contrast her professional triumphs with her struggles, it did her good to start seeing her value outside of Reynolds' shadow. So, after hearing her confession concerning Reynolds, what are your thoughts on the matter? Feel free to leave a remark with your opinions. Thank you for watching this video. We believe it has piqued your curiosity. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. If you want to see the latest celebrity news, just click on the video that appears on your screen.